Hello and good evening, folks. Welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2, round number 5 here in Qatar. This is the final race before we reach that halfway point in the season. And what a fantastic season we are having. Let's run through the Drivers' Championship and Constructors before we get into qualifying then. It is Speed Alcoholic, 55 points. He is 15 points ahead of Jack Alacco. Then there are Finley and Chris and Rick, the rest of the top 5 there as well, within 21 points of the leader. Then we have Ghost, Yaram, Kylo Ren, Hamilton Merck and Joe rounding off the top 10, with Daker, Tape, Rubiowski, Swee Ross, Jordan Lancer, Lifebow, Kevin O'Reilly, Exterek, Tier, Lawrence, Womack, Scott, Agro Alfie, Vizzy, Enchilada Dad, Hamzaldo, Jonathan, Aces, Primeval and PS Keon. Those last 3 drivers yet to score points in this championship, with Williams leading the way 7 points ahead after a climactic finish to the Las Vegas Grand Prix last week, and they are 7 points ahead of Mercedes, who are then 2 points ahead of Aston Martin, with Haas, Sauber, Red Bull, McLaren, Alpine and Honda and Ferrari coming up the back there in a championship that covers 36 points between the top 10 teams. Still incredibly close. Hello everybody, I'm back 2 weeks in a row. You have been spoiled, but now you've probably cursed it now, Kevin. I probably won't make it next week now. That's it, it's over. The good run has ended. No, I'm sure. Simeon Combs. It's your quali ban. Oh, yes, of course, you have a quali ban. Yes. I haven't joined a party. I need to do that. That's the one thing I needed to make sure I did. 1 second. I'm an amateur at this, clearly. There we go. I've joined the party, so I'm not bothering everybody anymore. As they go along, John Wick out on for a run here as well. I'm not sure what Keanu Reeves is doing here racing, but we're glad to have him out on the track. We're here in Qatar, of course. We're going to run you through a lap in a few moments' time. But we got 19 drivers on the grid. Kevin O'Reilly out on his intermediate, serving his quali ban. The stewards know what he did. Kevin knows what he did. And he'll be feeling the effects of that quali ban come lights out in 16 and a half minutes time. But we're watching the Sauber make their way around the track with quite a nice yellow and black helmet design there. The purple, I think that's just the standard one, to be honest. So 0 points in the helmet competition, but you know, F124 being the way it is, you're not really spoiled for choice. But let's ride on board with the Sauber as he gears up to start a lap. All the drivers coming out, still a few in the pit lane. But the Sauber is going to be the first to set a lap for us. Coming around the final corner now, important to get the speed. And ooh, not the best exit for John Wick. That's going to affect him down to turn 1. But opens the DRS up all the way down. Uses a little bit of overtake perhaps, but saving it for the rest of the lap. Uses much of the track as possible. Down into 5th, ideally 4th for John Wick there through turn 1. And then up into 5th again. You can really take this flat out, well, almost flat out. Or at least in 5th gear through there, but then down through the double right-hander now to finish off sector 1, carrying as much speed through here as well. I think John Wick's been a little bit conservative on this lap, but he crosses the sector 1 line down through the slowest corner on the track now, and then open it back up once again in towards this twistier section of the circuit, down to 4th gear now for John Wick through this corner. You've really got to attack every section of this track to get a good lap. And John Wick is probably holding a little bit back. We'll see if others are able to really get the most out of it. But let's see, as John Wick now coming through to the Sector 2 line to finish that part of the circuit. And now it's flat out for all 4 of these next corners. If you are brave enough, is John Wick brave enough coming through this next one? This is the one where you've got to see. This makes or breaks. John Wick just a tiny, tiny lift through that corner. And now one more corner to navigate. He's going to set the pace for us here in this qualifying session, the opening lap. Let's see what it is for the Sauber car. It's a 1 minute 22.2. Could do a little better. I think next across the line is going to be Finley, but I'm not going to catch him as he crosses the line and sets a 1 minute 20.9. Wow, wow, wow. You reckon John Wick's on pole here? I think that opening lap begs to differ, Tier. I won't lie to you. You really, really have to attack this circuit, otherwise you do not get the best out of it. Has Rick attacked this circuit, his ERS situation would say otherwise. A 22.1 for the Dutchman, Jonathan a 22.1 as well. Going one after the other. The Mercedes of Speed Alcoholic, 21.9. 1 second slower than Finley in his car. Here's Kylo Ren, last week's race winner. Where can he place his Aston Martin? A 21.4. He is just under 5/10 away from his teammate, I'd have said. With that lap time. Not the best start to the session, but well, not the best start to the session for Finley to be going so fast, but a solid go here already. Now 20 drivers on the grid. Rubialski has made it, as he did say he would be late. Daker has made an appearance to Joe's delight, so I don't have to call him out on stream. I wouldn't have done that anyway. But Sweet Ross, a great lap time from Sweet Ross in his Sauber, puts him up into second place at 21.3, and this is what I mean by attacking every corner of this circuit. If you can do that, then you can succeed. It is very good to see a full grid Primeval, you're correct. Fantastic. And Tier's retracted his message. Oh dear. Maybe he didn't see the pole time from Tier. See the pole time from Finley when he sent that message. But we'll see. Anything can happen. It could have just been a bad lap from John Wick. Let's see. Enchilada, that Tier 2's race winner, after a dramatic race in Tier 2. If you were there, then you know what happened. I don't need to repeat it, and quite frankly I don't want to, as Vizzy comes across the line. He sets a 22.9, only good enough for that last slot on the grid there so far. Anybody else out on a lap? Was sarcastic? Okay, too. It's hard to read sarcasm in a voice chat or in text communication, in all honesty. I am a little bit socially awkward as well, so I really don't pick up on those things all that often. Anyway, let's see who else is out on his lap. I think Yaram might be next. A disappointing race it was for him in Vegas. He was looking great. He was on great form. He was up there with the top 6. That's where the battle was. But then it just fell away from him, I think. A little mistake there. I think we cursed him in the box, to be honest. Which was a shame, because he was running a fantastic race up until that point. But looking to make his way through the line in this opening sessions. Let's ride on board with him here. See how daring he wants to be through this section here. Inspired by Istanbul Park, of course. This triple right-hand complex. Then a left-hander. A little shift down, actually. Not overly confident. And another shift there. That's really going to cost him some time. It's all about attack at this circuit. I can't stress that enough at this track. If you can't extract every ounce of performance from the car, if you can't be as fast as humanly possible, if you can't extend the track to the point where you're just on the very, very limit, then you are leaving so much time on the table. It is insane. I was shaking after the qualifying session with how much I had to put in to try, and one man who will be trying to put his all into it is Lawrence. He had a abysmal session in Tier 2, and he'll be looking to make amends. He'll be looking to at least score a point today, as he was the only driver to not score any after a poor race. And I'm glad to see him out on track. He was down in the doldrums after that race and wanting to give up, but he's sticking it out, and that's what I like to see. Let's see as he crosses the line, uses what's left of his battery at 23.1, and sees him right at the back, but he'll have plenty of time to go out again. Finley out once more. He feels threatened by his teammate and Sweet Ross there. He's got a comfortable lead so far in this qualifying session, but he's invalidated already, and that's going to be that lap down the drain. Rubialski, keep an eye on this man. Let's see what he does through the final corner. He was a threat for the win, and was quite unfairly given a... Well, I say unfairly, but unfortunately given a penalty. A 22.4. That puts him just outside the top 10. Let's see who else. Primeval. Can he set a lap? Got himself in a little bit of trouble in Tier 2. Let's see if he can avoid that tonight. Coming across the line, 23.1. Not the best opening time from the Tier 2 driver, but I'm sure he'll be looking to make amends on that one. Joe's out on the lap now. I think most of the drivers out on the track. Now, we'll find somebody who's on a lap. I think Sri Ross could be the next driver to set a lap, perhaps. Primeval's just ahead of him. Is there a Mercedes out there as well? That's speed. I think it's going to be Primeval. Not Primeval. Who did I say? I said Sri Ross. There we go. We'll keep on board with Sri Ross. I don't think anybody else is really going to be putting a lap on right now. Unless Jack Alaco's on a lap. He is, but he's not about to complete run. That's his teammate Rick. So let's ride on board with Sri Ross. Get a 10th up in the first sector. Let's see what he can do through sector 2. Can he attack the curbs? Yes, he can. That's what you want to see. This is a tricky corner, but Sri Ross just about over the limit. And he does invalidate that time. That is a shame. It looked like it might have been a decent improvement from Sri Ross. He's going to have only one more chance, I'd have said, to put it right. Unless he tries to go out again. I think Hamzaldo in the Red Bull is going to be the next driver. Let's see if he's flat through this corner here. No, a big lift. Not confident in the car at all coming through there. But can he get himself a decent banker time on the board? The only driver that's not serving a race ban to not set a time so far. He crosses the line. 23.3. Stays right where he is. John Wick's there as well. I think Finley... Cullinan set a lap. Didn't look like he could beat the previous time. I think Ghost might have just gone quicker. Maybe no, but he's having a bit of a wobble in the back there. A bit under the weather is Ghost, my podcast partner, at the moment. I'm hoping he's feeling a little bit better because he'll need all the concentration he can get as he gears up for another outlap. Let's see who else is out there. Daker's out on track as well. Speed Alcoholic has invalidated his lap, so no point following him for now. But at the moment, Finley once again looking unbeatable in single lap pace. He set the gauntlet last week in Vegas, and then his internet meant that he would lag out of the session. Has anybody got an answer to Finley? Hamzaldo, right? He's 3/10 up on his previous effort, but I don't think it's going to be for much as he comes around the line now. Is he peeling into the pit lane? No, he's going to stick out with it. Crosses the line once again. What's that going to put him? 2/10 improvement, slightly faster. John Wick, meanwhile, puts himself into the second row of the grid. Not a bad time from the Sauber driver. Here's Enchilada, 6/10 improvement. Can he go into the 121s? Not quite. Just outside of the top 10 is the Irishman. No lap from Jacko. Kylo Ren on an in lap. Is Rick on a lap there as well? He is not. He's on an out lap. He's about to start one. Let's see. I think Ghost is currently on a lap. Let's see what my podcast partner can do then right now. I think he's got Jonathan. No. Vizzy just ahead, as well as Speed, who is also on a lap. Is he? No, he's definitely not. But Vizzy is on a lap. Behind him, is he? No, he's not either. So let's ride back on board with Ghost as he comes through. Navigates traffic, Speed out of the way. Oh, this might cost Ghost a bit of time coming through. As the dirty air will affect him. He'll get a bit of a slipstream. A 21.6. No, 21.3, sorry. Puts Ghost in the front row of the grid now. But still, nobody can get anywhere past those 121.3s. Finley still feeling pretty safe out at the top of the field right now. There's lots to keep an eye on. Lawrence now out on a lap. It's a 10th up on this effort for him. Let's ride on board with Rick, because I think he'll be the next top contender to make a run. As everybody else ahead of him, I believe, is on an in-lap. As Rick makes his way through. How brave is Rick coming through here? That's flat through that corner. And this corner is easy flat. Easily done flat. And you can really attack it as well. And really gain a lot of time. Rick through the final corner now. all the way down to the right-hand side of the track. Didn't use any overtake, interestingly, coming along, and I think that might have played to his detriment. I think he might have been lost a little bit of time not using any overtake at the end of that lap. Lawrence, he's half a second up on his time. This looks like it might be a decent time for the two-time Tier 2 champion, and it's P12 for Lawrence so far. Is it Rubiowski next? No, it's not. The Ferraris don't improve. There is a RB coming across the line. No, Prime Evil is not on a lap, is he? He is. He's just started one, perhaps. And everybody in the pits, I'm imagining they'll be all coming out as Prime Evil invalidates this attempt. I'd imagine he'll go again. Yaram is also invalidated. That's Lawrence just ahead. And Yaram backs off. Sensibly recharge the battery. Compose yourself once more for one final go at it. But the question is, in the last minutes of this session, is can anybody beat Finley at the top here? He has been the man to beat in qualifying for the majority of this season, I think. The races he's been able to attend, Finley has been the man on top. Perhaps this man, Speed Alcoholic, can do the job. Maybe Sweet Ross can give us another fantastic lap. Who we will yet to see. Kylo Ren, he's got his first notch on his belt, his first race win in APPF1. Can he have a go at it? Can Ghost, my podcast partner, have a go? Or can Finley himself extend the gap, extend the target for everybody, and say, this is my qualifying session, folks. Come and get me. We'll be yet to find out. We're going to ride on board with Yaram, who is just starting his lap. Everybody else is on out laps. We're just going to wait along. Let's see what this house driver can do in his car. Coming round here again, not really attacking the track the way that you can in the car. You've really got to be aggressive. I keep saying it, and I will. Through this next corner now. That's a bit better from Yaram. He's a bit more aggressive on those two corners coming through. Down to the sector line now. He's a 10th and a half up. He'll be looking to try and get a little bit further into the top 10 with this lap in his Haas car. Can he hit his apex? Just about. Can he not invalidate here? Yes, keeps all four wheels on the track, or as many as is legal. And then through into the car now. Here's Scott in a moment. Third on Tuesday would put me P6. Yeah, I think I'd be just behind you, I think, Scott, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'd be somewhere up there with you, because you were just ahead of me. It was a fantastic qualifying fight, I will say. But here comes Yaram then, around the final corner. Has he got anything in the tank to get himself further into the top 10? Let's see as he crosses the line. Now it's a 21.7. That's P6. That's a respectable lap time for Yaram. Finley's crossing the line to start his lap. We're going to find the next driver to go. Could it be Joe? Maybe. There's lots of drivers that I'm trying to keep an eye on here. Enchilada. No, there really wasn't much in it at all. There's a Ferrari about to cross the line. That's Dake. Is that a Williams? Yes. There is a Williams. I think it might be the Williams. No. I think it might be the Red Bull of Joe. Yes, Joe. Half a 10th up on his previous best. I think he was flat through there. I didn't quite see. But round the final corner comes JB. Was not the best qualifying for him in Tier 2. But let's see if he can improve. Here, P8 for JB. Not bad. Ran out of fuel. Did Prime Evil. Let's see. Championship leader now. 0.4 of a second up on his time. This is promising, but he needs more in this final corner, or he will not challenge Finley. But a front road start would be good enough. Kylo and the Sweet Ross have retired. Meanwhile, they won't take further part as Speed can only do P6 there at the minute. Where is Ghost? He's coming through the final few corners now. Stop commenting. I can't see the track map. I don't know where people are. Sabotaging me even when you're not on track together, as Finley's gone even quicker by 0.3 of a second, slamming down that gauntlet. Enchilada Dad, I don't think he's got anything in him. Ghost, can he improve at all? He can, but he can only more or less match the time that Finley set previously, but it doesn't matter. He improved, and I don't think anybody has got an answer to Finley in this qualifying session. Rick is half a second up on his previous best, as I think Jack Alacco had just gone quicker, just snapped his way into the top 10. As I think Rubialski put himself P11 just then. Then Rick is going to cross the line now. I think he might be the last driver on a run. P7 for the Williams. It's not good enough, but look how close those times were between the top, well, between P3 all the way down to P7. It's incredibly close between them all. All in the 1 minute 21.3s, but it is Finley comes out on top of 1 minute 20.6. A fantastic qualifying yet again from Finley. He'll be hoping, praying, crossing every single extremity that he's got, that his internet doesn't cut out again and rob him of a pole start. Well then, a great qualifying session it was, and Finley was the man on pole position. Then Ghost is going to join him on row number 1. Then Dakar and Kylo Ren and John Wick will finish off the top 5, with Swee, Ross, Rick, Speed Alcoholic, Jonathan and Yaram the top 10. Then Jackalacco, Rubialski, Enchilada, Joe, Hamilton Merck, Lawrence, Hamzaldo, Vizzy, Primeval and Kevin O'Reilly, rounding off the 20 cars that will line up to start this Qatar Grand Prix. I love you too, Lawrence. You of all people should know how difficult it is in a qualifying session to keep track of what, like 15 cars, let alone 20. I've done about 40 once. It's insane. Back when I did GT3 with Zach, 40 cars was a lot to keep track of. Thankfully it was split between the two of us. But anyway, 4, 3, 4, 5 red lights for round number 5. And we're underway and racing. It looks like a great start from Finley in the lead there as well. Ghost is going to try and draw level alongside it, but he closes off the door and looks to go around the outside. Ghost is defended P2, and now Dakar and Kylo Ren go side by side. A little bit of wheel banging as we go through turn number 1, but I think it's all clean as we go through now. And Dakar is going to hold his position, or at least go on the attack. Ghost a little bit squirrely. He's under attack now from the Ferrari. Around the outside he goes, side by side. Into the double right-hander they go, and Ghost just slips through, stays in P2. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren falling back a little bit. There's a lot of jostling. There's cars off the track in the background as well. There's so much going on in its opening lap. It is very hard to keep track. There's a yellow flag as well. Somebody's had an incident as we've gone along, but the leaders are okay. It seems somebody's dropping like a stone in the order. I think that's Hamilton Merck. Oh, and there's a Sauber off. That's Swee Ross. He's off the circuit and he's going to plummet all the way down to the back. What an awful start for the Sauber. But what a thrilling few corners in this opening lap. Let's get all of our details up. Not that one, though. We don't want that no more. Position change. Rubialski with a great start. Primeval as well, up 5. Hamilton Merck up 4 places. Most drivers opting for the mediums to start with. If an early safety car comes out, these hard runners are going to be in a bit of a hard spot. But let's see now, lap 2, DRS is going to be activated this lap. There's only one DRS zone, we're in it right now. Leaders hold station for the time being. This is a very, very demanding Grand Prix. You are on the limit at all times. These drivers will be feeling the pressure. And it's not like in Tier 2 where we had 3 cars go off. We've got a train all the way down to about P11 here. All for the lead of this race. Ghost is on the hunt for a race win this season. It'll be his first this season, I believe. I'll go back and fact check myself. I don't think Ghost has won any races this season. He has not. The closest he came was second. Maybe? Yes, second in Hungary. But let's see, it's all calm for now. All quiet, but it will start to kick off soon. The DRS trains are just settling in all aboard the Findlay train right now. Whoa, a little bit wide from John Wick. That might be a track limits infringement there. Got to keep all 4 wheels up in that white line on the edges of the track, or you will get slapped with a warning, with a penalty. Now the question is, what is the tactic? Do you stay behind? Ghost certainly isn't. He's going to go for the move. Fairly standard pass, but Findlay tries to fight him around the outside. The grip on those medium tyres, however, is far superior to those hards, and Ghost manages to take the place. It's fairly equal between the hards and the mediums, I'd say, around here. The mediums offering that little bit more grip and are naturally better, but in terms of their life on the circuit, it's not all that different. Like I said, I think the difference between these drivers is going to be who can get the most out of the circuit, who can push the circuit to the very, very limit and get the most out of it throughout the race. That is who I think is going to win today. Could be anyone though. Dakir up there as well. He had a decent start. When did he sneak up into the top? No, he started in third. Okay, I missed his qualifying run. That put him in third place, but a decent go of it from the Scotsman. He is going to be chasing down Ghost and Findlay. But it is race on still. The top 10 now, the train. Enchilada that has dropped off. Everybody in their own sort of individual battles. And speaking of, Sweet Ross is going for it on Primeval. These two getting a bit racy. That could have been a bit divisive. Didn't get the best angle on it. Findlay has taken the lead once again. Would have been a fairly easy pass for him, I'd have said, going through. Sweet and Primeval swapping places once more. Still very quiet toward the front. This DRS train is where all the action's going to be. No eruptions in it at the moment. No mistakes. A lock-up maybe from Ghost, I think. Hard to tell. All going through. All looking speed. He'll want to try and get ahead of these drivers in front of him. But he's got to hold off now. It's the trouble with a DRS train. It's so difficult to pass. And this track is just flat all the time. Going 4 moves is particularly dangerous. Sweet Ross and Primeval swap places once again. Does Sweet Ross have damage to that front ring perhaps? He doesn't. Hamzaldo though is going to maybe get through on him. He seems to be struggling, the Sauber. I think he might have some others, maybe some superficial damage. Some damage that we can't see on the cameras. As Findlay sets the fastest lap. Looks like he's going to hold Ghost off for now. Ghost, is he going to look to go for it? He has a little look, but just doesn't send it right now. If Findlay can't shake these drivers, he's going to be at risk of an undercut here. The drivers behind him will come in, and then they'll lose out places. Sweet Ross is retired in the pit lane. He has had enough. Primeval in the pit lane as well. Must have been an incident between those two. He didn't quite manage to catch it. But an incident there was, but everybody's still running nose to tail with each other. Nothing to report, nothing to declare. Oh, Finley though with a big wobble through this corner here. That might leave him vulnerable to Ghost, who might try and set him up through here. You can just see the sheer speeds as they're going along. Listen for the lift. A little bit of a downshift from Ghost, but keeps it going. There might have been a lift in there as well, but still not quite close enough to the back of Finley. I don't think he's going to be able to attack on this particular lap. No, Finley has got the speed, not quite the battery though. Ghost seems to be happy to just sit in his slipstream, farm the DRS from him, and that's it. He's in the ideal spot for this train right now. Everybody else behind him is just sitting there allowing this to go along. Speed Alcoholic has got a time penalty, as do a few other drivers. This is one of the many track limits Grand Prix that are on the calendar. We've got another one next week. That is the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Another track limit circuit, but expect to see more time penalties as the race progresses. Still no action so far. Everybody just happy to sit along with each other. Happy to follow for now. This time in Tier 2 we had a safety car. Again, we all know what happened. If you were there, you know. I certainly do. Let's check on Lawrence and see how he's getting on. Race of his own. He's got Joe behind him. He'll want to finish ahead of Joe if he can. Not bad, Lawrence, not bad. Yaram into the pit lane. Yaram has now retired from the race as well. He has also had enough. That's a shame for Yaram. He started the season off very strong, and then sort of the flame went out. The spark had gone, and now Yaram seems to just be struggling a bit. Rick has now formed his own little train. The train's starting to split up as the top 6 are all running in their own train. There's now Rick, Rubiowski, Jacko making up their own train. Williams will be trying to maximise their points haul today in an effort to keep the lead of the championship. Let's remind ourselves they are 7 points ahead of Mercedes. With Kevin being where he is, he's not quite pulling the same weight as Speed. So he could keep the championship. Well, they could keep the championship lead here, which would be good for them going forward into the halfway stage of the season. Here we go again. Ghost just on the back of Finley again. Is he going to go for the move this time? He's got the speed to do it, but thinks better of it. Stays behind Finley. Still happy to just sit on board with him. And still the battery difference is quite alarming if you're Finley right now. But Finley seems quite comfortable. Ghost, almost a full battery in his tank there. He'll be chasing down Finley, I'm sure, when the time comes. I'm sure we're getting closer to that pit window as well. Who is going to pull the trigger first? Who is going to go for that early stop and try the undercut? It'll work. Anybody who comes in now will come out and clear air, and they will have run off the track to just do everything they can to try and get the undercut to work. Meanwhile, Jackalacko chasing down Rubiowski. I think this is a track that really does reward patience, because there's so few opportunities to overtake that you've got to be at your most patient. You've just got to push and push and push and wait for your opportunities. Rick has found his way back into the fight for the lead now. He's closing in on Speed Alcoholic. Rubiowski has been passed by Jackalacco in the meantime. Jacko now up into P8. They'll be looking to try and get themselves ahead of Speed Alcoholic, and that time penalty is really going to ruin the night if Speed Alcoholic can't shake it or nobody else gets penalised. Still no changes for the lead. Finley sitting tidy at the moment. Dakar a little bit further back. They're at risk here. A mistake could see them out of the DRS. The DRS is such a vital part of the race here at Qatar. You kind of need it every lap, or you're going to struggle to catch up. And see, there's John Wick. He's dropping time. He's really got to try and get back in touch with his top three, or he's going to become the bottleneck. And I don't think he is. I think he's losing the pace. Look how little battery he's got in the tank.